Today is Remembrance Day, so let's show respect and give honor to our veterans by taking a moment of silence.
Yep. Sounds good to me. That is a good plan.
My name is Nico Lagan, and I'm too conservative for the conservatives. My co-host Rob Ambrose, not woke enough for the liberals. We are the political orphans. Tonight on the show, we're going to be speaking about Remembrance Day, obviously, measles, and how Trump might be suing the BBC for $1 billion. Before we get started, I want to remind you that the main goal of this show is to promote civil discourse. It doesn't matter if you're leftist, if you're a rightist, if you agree or you disagree with us. We want to hear from you. So join the conversation and leave us a comment below. How you doing, man?
What's going on, brother? How you guys doing today? How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are enjoying your day off and you did some remembering on Remembrance Day today. Nico, you go ahead.
You know, if it was up to me, I would have played. I posted this everywhere this morning. I always do on Remembrance Day, but I post Don Cherry's speech that got him fired. So I posted that on all my socials. I tried to post it on YouTube, but it gets claimed for copyright, so I cannot show it on the show.
Oh,
but every time, yeah, because Don Cherry to me was a hero. He said 6 years ago what only became more true today, that immigrants, asylum seekers, even born Canadians don't give a fuck about the poppy. They don't care about our veterans. They forgot the people that have served, that have died, that have done the ultimate sacrifice for the country, for the freedoms that we enjoy today. So yeah, if you haven't paid respect to veterans, you should, because our country wouldn't be where it is today. Well, hold on. Our country where it is today is mostly liberal problems, but you know what I'm saying. It's fascinating to me that we don't have more respect for the people that serve. So again, thanks for your service, bro.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it really is though. Like that story we covered yesterday with the judge who says
Nova Scotia Supreme Court judges. Yep.
Yeah, it's a political symbol, and it's not. They're making it political. No one else sees it as political, but once you label political, you can then ban it. But it's interesting, of course, they don't ban other political symbols.
No, of course
the
not.
rainbow flags and whatnot.
But that's not political. That is how people are born, right? Come on,
Yeah.
come on, bro. Come on.
Yeah,
keep
exactly.
up. Keep up. Keep
Exactly.
up. Keep up. You're not keeping up right now. But yeah, let's start the show with that. I wanted to make sure that we take a moment of silence. As much as I've never served. This is, I don't have a lot of regrets in my life. I'm not somebody that has regrets, but I wish I would have done it. I wish I would have gone when I was younger. Even if it was just for 4 years, even if it was just to, I wish I would have learned what the military teaches young men at an early age.
Yeah.
All my family's military. Like, it's basically my mother, my sister, and myself were not. Like, our generation is not. But all the parents, 90% of them in my family are either still in the military or they served. So it's something I wish my parents would have pushed on me when I was younger. I thought, at least try to convince me to do it, because it was not a conversation.
Yeah, and if, back when you were like 19, 20, 21, it would still have been worthwhile. But if you join now, you wouldn't get a lot of those, those lessons that you're talking about. Like they're saying, like,
I've learned them somewhere else. I learned them somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly, right. And in some ways, because those lessons are universal. You can learn them in the military, but there's other ways to learn them, whether it's just meeting a mentor as you go about life, or through sports, or through fighting, or MMA as you have. There's lots of different ways, but that's definitely one of them.
It's just that the military experience, in my opinion, is a fast track of everything you should know, especially as a young man. like
agree.
how to be disciplined, how to take orders, how to follow orders, how to
Hmm.
be part of a team, how to protect other people, how to depend on other people, the skills that you need to somewhat defend yourself. That's why I believe in I believe in military service. This is
Yeah,
one thing I like about Israel, to have forced military service. I strongly believe that we should have a 6 months minimum to do boot camp so that you learn the
I would agree
basics,
with that.
but you need to serve for 2 years to 4 years before you can continue your life. So if you graduate high school, when you graduate high school, if you want to go to university, if you want to go to college, you want to start working, you need to serve. Let's call it 2 years, 6 months mandatory boot camp, and the rest you can continue in the military if you want, or you could do public service, pick up the garbage, fix the asphalt, like be part
Mm.
of your municipality, your really where you live, to understand what it takes to actually keep up the community in which you live.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of people would think that's crazy, like forced military service, but I actually think there'd be a lot of benefits. I think I
Oh
think
yeah.
society would benefit a lot from it. There's a
And
lot.
I'm
I mean,
especially
Israel does
talking
it.
about men. I'm talking about men. I'm not talking about women. When it comes to the military, I personally don't think women have anything to do with the military. They should not be on the front. Can they do the bureaucratic? And even then, I don't think women should be part of the military. As bad as this sounds, I think that's a man's job. This is a man thing to be done. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, there's different jobs and roles in the military. I certainly don't have an issue with like a non-combat role. A frontline combat role though. I'm not. And we had two when I was in Afghanistan. We had two women in our units, and they were about as like they were they were pretty switched on. They were pretty good, but even still, they were it's not the right environment for them. It's not. They didn't do well over there. Both of them did not do well.
And I'm going to correct what I said, because I don't believe that women should be on the front. That we both
The
agree.
front lines,
And they should not be in position of power either. Like having our top general cry on camera because of
That's
racism
crazy.
in the military, fuck
That's
off.
crazy.
There is no way women with their emotions that have never been on the front line. I don't think that those generals, you should become a general without having experienced the front line. Like the officers the officers skip this whole thing. I don't think that's right either. There's a lot of things that I think is wrong with the military, but first and foremost, women have no place on the front line. They don't belong there at all. And I don't know a lot of people that disagree with that statement that are either ex-military or martial artists that knows the physicality difference between a man and women. And we're not emotionally the same either. We're just not. We just are not the same type of people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked about this quite a bit. Men and women are just different. Not that one's better or worse. We're just different.
Nope.
And I think
Yep.
if we're talking in the context of fighting a war, I think men are generally much better suited for it. Now, like I'm all for like. Look, I don't believe in lowering standard whatsoever. I think if, in theory, if a woman is able to meet the standards, I guess I wouldn't have a major complaint with it. But the reality, even the two that I was served with, who were pretty good, they benefited from lowered standards. I don't think that there are too many women that would be able to meet the regular standards, which is of course why they lowered her. And that, to me, like there are some jobs like it doesn't. You really. If you're lowering standards to get people into that job, like they should not be there in the first place. Like this idea, like we have to have more women in the military, just in and of itself, like not for any specific reason, just so that we can check a box. Could not disagree with that more.
Here's the perfect example. Did you hear about the announcement? And basically the only news that was actually covering it is the Ottawa Citizen. At least that's the only one I found. But it's been reported by the Ottawa Citizen that the Canadian military will rely on an army of public servants to boost its rank by 300,000. So they're
I don't know
basically
exactly what they mean by this.
The Canadian Forces is counting on public servant to volunteer for military service as it tries to ramp up an army of 300,000 as part of the mobilization plan, according to Defense Department directive. Federal and provincial employees would be given a 1-week training course in how to handle a firearm, drive trucks, and fly drones, according to the directive signed by the Chief of Defense Staff General Jenny Carnegie. I think is the same twat that was crying on camera the other day. But this kind of proves my point. And here's what's funny. At this point, there are over 4,300 personnel in the supplementary reserve, but in case of an emergency, that would be boosted to 300,000, according to the directive. So they are looking to boost our reserve from 4,300 to
300,000.
300,000. Have you ever been? Have you ever been to government places of work? All my family, I'm the only guy that's only worked for the private sector. All my family to this day, if they work, and I'm talking extended family, not just my mother, my sister, extended family, they all work for the government. None of them are fighting any wars. None of them. None of them. And I'm sorry, that blue-haired butch ain't fucking doing shit. That vegan dude that works for the government, he ain't signing up for the military. Like, come on.
I don't really understand. Like, I saw this. It didn't make any sense to me. I don't understand what it said. A week-long course. You're not going to learn anything in a week. Like, what's even the point of it? You're not going to learn.
Handling a gun? I don't care that you spend every day in, day out, 24 hours a day handling a gun. I don't trust you. I'm not giving you a loaded firearm at all. Zero. I don't trust you to turn around and flash that gun right in my face with your finger on the trigger. Nope. No. That takes time and repetition. It takes time to learn.
That's where the training comes in. It's just that you're handling it all day, every day, and it becomes second nature. To just have a week-long training course is not going to do anything.
Just walking around with it. For the people out there that have, because I did what they call the black badge in Canada, which allows me to compete, right? It allows me to run around with loaded firearms. And it's very interesting. There's a difference between going to the gun range, putting your firearms on the counter, you load, you shoot, you clear, you leave the action open so that you can see that they're cleared, take the magazine out, make sure, put them on the counter, and walking around with a loaded 9mm on your hip. There's a very big difference knowing that it is there and it could fire. If you're not careful, you could fire your firearm like a fucking idiot and shoot you in the foot. Right? There's a massive difference. Like, just knowing that it's there.
Yeah, it's just...
No. Like, just the black badge was 2 full days after doing all the training and after getting certified prior to even being able to take the black badge. And now we're talking about M16s. We're talking about a different type of firearm. It's insane. A week's training to be in the military, in the reserve. It
doesn't even make sense. Like, I don't even know what role they have in mind. Like, I don't, like, they said supplementary reserve. That's not even like reserves. That's not even, I don't even think they're intended to be like fighting soldiers. I just, to me, it just sounds like the kind of thing that, like, someone said somewhere, maybe it found its way into a report, like this billion trees or something. And then, 6 months or 12 months down the road, nothing will happen because it's just such an absurd idea. Are they going to just draw these from all branches of government? Are they going to go down to the DMV and be like, oh, Brenda, come on over. You're going to be in the military now.
Well, listen to this. While the supplementary recruiting push will prioritize volunteer public servant at the federal and provincial and territorial level, the entry standards won't be strict. According to the 9-page unclassified directive, the entry criteria for the supplementary or the other reserve would be less restrictive than the reserve force for age limit, as well as physical and fitness requirement. Like, age limit, what, grandmother is going to start showing up in her wheelchair?
There's this mindset among, like, I don't know, the government and the way they talk about the military, where it's like, how they'll say, like, okay, we got to boost numbers, we got to boost some recruitment, or we got to get when they're talking about the regular force, they'll say you might hear them say something. We got to get 80,000 new recruits or 100,000 or whatever it is. But you get the impression that they only think about that in terms of numbers in a spreadsheet. It's not like they care who those 100,000 people are. 100,000 grandmothers is just as good as 100,000 warriors in their mind. But of course, in the real world, that's idiotic. Like it matters far more who the people you recruit than the overall numbers. And yet it just shows that they're not serious about the military. They don't actually expect the military to go and do military things. And so, Grandma and Lunch Lady Doris can serve. Why not? It's nonsense.
Hey guys, it's Remembrance Day. I'm not bashing on the military. On the contrary, I know that the military dudes that are out there, they're absolute killers. That are there to do what's best for Canada. Don't want this shit either. Like, let's be honest. I am not bashing. I know enough military guys to know that this is bullshit. They do not agree with this shit. So let's be real here. I am not bashing the military. On the contrary, everything that I'm saying is for them. Because they can't say it out loud. They need to be careful what they say. I don't have to be fucking careful. They don't want 300,000 special reservists that have 1 week's training. Do you want to be? Can you imagine being on a battlefield, shoulder to shoulder with somebody that has a week's training? No, but think about it. You're laughing, but
it's such a ridiculous thought. I don't even, like I said, I don't even like. At no point are they even thinking that these people ever go to war. So then, what is the point? What is the point of getting 300,000, reservists on paper if and they know and everybody knows they're not actually ever going to fight in the war if it actually came to that? It's just a way to get the numbers. Like some bean counter or some consultant in Ottawa that they paid $10 million just came up with this number. We got to have 300,000 reserves. And then they looked around and say, okay, doesn't matter who, let's just get 300,000 names in there. And that's all it is. It's all, as Easter the Soul says, it's called a paper army. Yeah, exactly. It's not real. Whereas in the military, or in America, they don't do that shit because their military still has to go do military things. There's no point to recruiting a 300,000 strong army if they know that it can't actually do the fucking job. But they know ours is never going to do the actual job, so it doesn't matter to them.
Well, it could be they're planning. You know what the Ukraine did to its people? They would take anybody that was literally alive that could hold a gun. That was a dude.
Well, yeah, and now they're in an actual war. Yeah.
But what's interesting is I have a video right now of Mark Carney, what he said for Remembrance Day. It's messed up because I don't even think it's real. I think it's AI. I've dealt with, that there's AI's platform right now that you can they will film you. They will have you read texts for like 2 minutes and then they can duplicate you super easily and they can create videos. Tell me if that one, as soon as I click play on that one, I'm like, oh, that's not real. That looks AI. Okay. But the point I'm trying to make is that you passed a comment saying, like, what's the use? They're never going to get used. Maybe there's a place, there's a part in the video that he says where the army is being used right now. And maybe that whole 300,000 number has something to do with NATO. It might be a NATO requirement or it's promised through NATO. Because I'm just remembering right now, he actually talks about NATO in his remembrance speech. It's super short. It's like 1 minute and 10 seconds. But here is Mark Carney telling us about Remembrance Day.
Today we honor the service of the brave women and men who answered the call. Those who sacrificed...
motherfucker, I did not catch that the first time. Did you hear that?
What's that? Brave women and men?
Not men and women. He actually flipped it. Oh, what? I did not...
Yeah.
He's gonna give us a land acknowledgement. It sounded weird.
It does look like AI, doesn't it?
Yeah, look at the way
I'm pretty sure that's AI. He's just mailing it in, man. He can't even take the time to. Nope. He's probably fucking in like on a beach somewhere.
Today we honor the service of the brave women and men who answered the call.
Women and men.
Those who sacrificed years away from loved ones. Those who returned from combat forever changed. And those who never came home. In an increasingly dangerous and divided world, remembrance is also vigilance. Our sovereignty and our security, and those of our allies, are not guaranteed. The women and men of the Canadian Armed Forces protect them every single day. They rush to communities as wildfires and floods roll in. They airlift life-saving aid across waters. They stand on guard in the Arctic, and they defend NATO's eastern flank. When people see a maple leaf on a sleeve or on the back of a truck, they see hope, and they get help. Today, as we pause to remember those acts of heroic service, we remember that our rights, our freedoms, our way of life were fought for and are won every day by Canadians who answer the call, lest we forget.
Yeah, I don't think it's real. I think it's AI.
No, I'm pretty sure it's AI.
Floods roll in.
It can't even take the time. You can't even like be bothered to make a real Remembrance Day message. Yeah.
But the women and men, doesn't it sound weird?
It does sound weird. It's
bullshit.
It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, on the one hand, it's not really a big deal. It's just the fact that they went out of their way to change it.
You know why they're doing it.
Yeah.
You know why they're doing it. They're sending a message. I'd be curious to see out of their 300,000 people.
It's just message sending. It's just virtue signaling. It's not actually doing anything. It's just giving the appearance that you're doing something.
I would love to see I'd like to see if there are some sex or gender requirements for the 300,000. If they have, we need 100,000 women, 100,000 non-binaries, and 100,000
50,000 trans women. Nah, I don't think so, because it says it's going to be all voluntary. This is something that's not. I mean, I see on the conservative circles. There's like, I've seen people be like, he's raising an army to come after us. I don't think that's what this is. This is a bunch of fat office workers who I can
deal with that army. I can definitely deal with that army.
On a camping trip.
That doesn't worry me. That doesn't worry me at all.
No, if these are not the guys that are storming that are storming your house. They are throwing flashbangs into the room, stacking against the wall, and no.
All I need to do is put steps in place, not salt my steps in front of my house. They're not gonna make it.
Yeah, like they'll be like just wheezing trying to get up. Yeah, no, I think it like I see a lot of like some people are almost think it's like something sinister. I think it's more just something ridiculous. It's just more government nonsense. I don't think it's going to be anything. It'll probably be like a weekend trip for a bunch of fatties to go and make it seem like they. Yeah,
it's a very intense week of training on how to learn to handle a firearm, drive trucks, and control drones. Like, I don't know. I don't know if you've ever had a drone. I had a professional drone.
I haven't. No.
That shit ain't easy. Even a week.
No, yeah,
you're not gonna be that great. You're not gonna be that good.
It's weird. It's because I'm reading a little bit about it here. It seems like it's because there's right now we have the regular force and then the reserves, and the reserves are like actual military. Like, yes, they're civilians and they don't. I think they go every Thursday night. They do training, and then one weekend a month is this general schedule. But it's actual military, right? You can plug them into a real military unit. And this is like a third level. This is called supplementary reserve. And I don't know, like, it's not even, I don't even know if it's meant to be military per se, as so much as like, I don't know. Yeah. It's just like drone flying and driving trucks and stuff. It says here that they're going to have a week training, and then every year they're going to do a week, refresh to like refresh the training or something. But I don't know what exactly the purpose of it is. Like, there's no way this is going to be a deployable unit that's going to go and like actually fight or anything like that.
Yeah, see, Tom Paisley is banging on. Hey, Nico, they're going to train you. They're going to train them so that they can come to your door and take your legally owned property. Just give them a donut and they'll head out. This to me is not a threat. Like those little purple-headed fat butch are not a threat at all. I'm gonna Sparta kick the shit out of them. I've always
Yeah.
wanted to do that in front of a staircase, like this is Sparta, and just massive front kick.
Boom. Yeah.
But no, they're not a threat. They're definitely not a threat.
I think this is just more nonsense stuff that the federal government does.
Virtue signaling.
Yeah, virtue signaling. There's probably some consultant that's Carney's buddy or something who got $1 million to come up with this idea, and then they'll do some paperwork over the next couple months, and then we'll never hear about it again.
It's don't forget, it's the exact same general that cried on camera, the one that had her name on the report.
That's crazy.
Was literally the woman that was crying on TV for the racism in the Canadian Army. Like, bitch, please. So we heard.
Go on.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just saying that's just not. It doesn't even matter. Like the relevance of what she said. Even if she was right in what she was saying, but she wasn't. But let's say she had a point. You still don't want your fucking top soldier in the military sitting there sobbing for any reason. It's the fact that you think that's okay shows exactly how far we have gone from the warrior culture and the warrior ethos in the military. That's just, I know there are people who be like, oh, it's okay to cry. Yeah, maybe in some places, but not if you're a man, not if you're the fucking head of the army. If you're the top general, you don't go out there and cry. This should not have to be said.
No, and not only that, but the fact that the person, the Minister of Defense, is not even ex-military is a massive problem too.
Yeah,
a bureaucrat is in charge of the military. Are you fucking kidding me, bro?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? So we heard what AI Mark Carney had to say about Remembrance Day. It is so AI. I don't believe that that's real at all.
No, that's definitely
AI. Here is the video that Pierre Poilievre released for Remembrance Day. You know what? Let's take a vote for the people in the comment section. Let me know which one's worse or which one's better. Was Mark Carney AI video better, or was Pierre Poilievre's video better? You tell us in the comment section, because I'm really curious to know. There you go. That's the video that Pierre Poilievre posted today.
I personally find a lot of this stuff always a bit silly. But that said, as far as these kind of clips go, like, that was pretty good. Like that's what you expect from a politician. I don't expect anything better. I think no matter if he had got up and said something, it would have just sounded fake anyways. So,
I think that was smart.
Yeah,
I think that was very smart not to say anything.
Yeah, I think so too. It would have just sounded like he focus grouped whatever he was talking about. Obviously the politicians, they have to do something like that. And if they didn't do anything, then we'd probably be rightfully calling them out for that. But yeah, I mean, I guess credit where it's due. He didn't. It's not a disaster. I guess that's the best you can hope for these days.
No,
not a disaster. That's great. That's the best you can do.
I kind of laughed when I saw the video because I thought it was lazy. And he still has the smug attitude in his video. Yeah. Like, I still want to smack him, but at least he paid respect to veterans. And I think you're right. I think it was absolutely brilliant not to say anything, because you either have AI Mark Carney that says nothing, women and men, twice in his video and says nothing, or you just have a video with music that lasts 20 seconds that just shows an event where you were that was filled with veterans.
Yeah, I think
for once I agree with him. I agree with his message. I
think I think there are times when prime minister or president could maybe get away with making an AI video if it's like some minor announcement or something and it's just gonna super busy. But like this is Remembrance Day, man. Like there's probably 2 or 3 times a year when, if nothing else, you should actually go out and talk. Maybe that's like obviously Remembrance Day, maybe like a Christmas Day message or something, and maybe one other one or something. But I feel like it's kind of a disrespect to veterans that you can't even be bothered to take the time to make a real video. I guess we don't know for sure that it's AI, but if you guys, I don't know, you guys saw that. What do you think? It had that, I can't even put my finger on it. It just has that AI look.
But that's what AI does.
Yeah.
So I have used those softwares. I have played around with those softwares before where they will record you. They'll take a bunch of images. You can put speech. They will ask you to repeat certain words in certain orders and certain sentences so that they can match your cadence, your emotions. But there's always
that
something.
That would be always.
Yeah, but you don't know. A lot of content creators out there are not real. They're not. They're totally fake. They don't exist. There's a lot of them that are men passing as hot women so that they can go on their OnlyFans
and stuff. Some of those big OnlyFans accounts are not real people, which is wild.
No, but that's not surprising. That's not surprising at all.
No, it isn't.
But to say that our prime minister is can't even fucking be bothered, yeah, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't surprise me though.
Louis de Vlug says, as prime minister, step up and talk, motherfucker. Yeah, like you're the prime minister. I do actually like, as my 2 cents said, Pierre didn't make it about himself. No words necessary. Yeah, that's right. And he isn't the prime minister, so he doesn't. I think that's the right call. Just don't speak. Don't make it about yourself. Do something small and show, pay respects. But when you're the prime minister, I think you do have to say something on Remembrance Day, and you got to do more than just mail it in and get your assistant to make a fucking AI video.
And you don't need to say much. That's the thing, right? You could literally go on stage somewhere, just say, we remember our veterans. We remember the Canadian men and women that died for our freedoms. We will never forget. Thank you for your service. Done. That's it. You can literally speak for 15 seconds. That's the end. You don't need to go. You're not a military man. You don't need to preach to those people.
Yeah,
15 seconds, you're done. That's it. Show up to the biggest veteran event that's taking place. Go to Ottawa. Go in front of one of the war museum, the war monuments, like where our friend Jeff Evely got arrested and got in court for. Just go there, give your 15-20 minute speech, tell all the media that you're going to be there, being cool, and that's it. Walk in, walk out. You're done. Doesn't need to be much.
Yeah, no, you don't. Yeah, exactly. It's a pretty tried and tested formula. You don't need to reinvent the wheel here. Prime ministers and presidents have been doing Remembrance Day ceremonies for a very long time. You don't need to do anything wild or crazy. Just go out and pay some respects, say a few nice things. As where is it here? Bristol's Tube says Carney should have been out in the cold with the real vets, paying his respect like a real leader would. Yeah, that's a good point. Is there no videos of him being out there laying a wreath or something? Because that's just absolute bare minimum. That's just the bare minimum is basically what Pierre was doing in that video, right? Yeah, and it's a photo op. Like we all understand they probably would rather be somewhere warm, but that's the point. You still have to do it. There are certain things that are your responsibility when you're the prime minister. And
I agree.
Going in physically in person to a Remembrance Day ceremony, it doesn't even matter which one, as long as it's there's a cenotaph and you're with some veterans, you lay a wreath. Takes 20 minutes of your day. You get you glad hand a few vets, you get some pictures taken, and then you go and do whatever you want. But if he didn't even do that, that's that's to me, I think that's a slap in the face for veterans.
I agree. I don't think he did, and I'm sure that was AI. Just looking at it, I deal with AI enough to know that's fucking AI. That wasn't true. That wasn't real. Here's a topic I wanted to talk about yesterday, but we didn't get the time. I thought it would pass, but I think it's trending more today than it was yesterday. So this is definitely something we need to talk about. And remember, we had Ted Kuntz from Vaccine Choice Canada come on the show, and he did address measles. I don't know
Yep.
if you saw that, but it's trending on X, something crazy right now. But it's reported that Canada lost its WHO measles elimination status
Oh, yeah.
after more than 25 years. So I just want to address the reality here, because goddamn, what people are talking about, it's always anti-vaxxers' fault, right? So it's my fault if measles is on the rise, obviously, and it's Alberta's fault. But here's a super short video, and then I just want to talk facts for the people out there that are blaming anti-vaxxers for the problem.
Top story we are tracking this morning is Canada losing its measles elimination status. The Public Health Agency of Canada says the country officially lost that status after holding it for more than 25 years. The agency was informed by the World Health Organization after 12 months of uninterrupted transmission. Alberta has recorded nearly 2,000 measles cases, the highest concentration in the country. We will continue to track this for you and bring you the latest throughout the morning.
Actually, you know, that's not even true. It was actually Ontario that had the highest one, but don't let the facts hurt you. So here are the facts. So if you look at X right now, everybody on the left are blaming Alberta and anti-vaxxers, but here are the actual facts. The survival rate to measles between the vaccinated and non-vaccinated is 100% for the vaccinated versus 99.8% for the unvaccinated. The only 3 deaths reported in Canada over the past 10 years that were unvaccinated were immune compromised infants under the age of 5, 2 of them being preborn, premature babies.
So yeah,
so they were
this is
all
not a random.
so-
This is not a random sample.
No.
These are specific
So-
people.
Yeah. So basically there hasn't been, and people argue if it was caused by measles. Remember COVID? If you ran through your windshield in a car accident, but you had COVID, you died of COVID. You didn't really die of the car accident. That's pretty much what people are saying. But 3 deaths in the past 10 years of what's the term? Compromised infants.
Immunocompromised.
Yeah, and the only, you know, the thing that Big Pharma wants you to forget is that the only way to get 100% lifelong immunity is to catch measles naturally. Remember measles party? That's the only way to do it. So, you know, at the end of the day, the real question is, would you rather be scared and take an injection, or take care of your immune system, treat your body with the respect that it deserves so that it can take care of yourself? Like, it's pretty simple, right? 99.8% survival rate, and the only people that died from measles in the past 10 years were literally infants that probably wouldn't have survived no matter what. They were not in good shape in the first place.
There's this. It's really only a risk if you're part of a very specific group. It's not a random thing, and the specific group is immunocompromised children. And yes, that is, you know, and if you are an immunocompromised child or you're the parent of one, then yes, you absolutely need to probably be very, very careful and take lots of precautions. But this idea that we would turn all of society upside down for a 0.002% of the population because of a minuscule risk to everyone else is nonsense. It doesn't make any sense. You can't structure a society that way. And then, of course, like, you know, the idiots will be like, oh, so what, you don't care about immunocompromised children? Well, no, that's just, you can't live life like that. Like, because if you're going to go down that route, then let's, you know, we won't be able to do anything. We won't be able to drive, right? Because, you know, some people die in car accidents. And it's just, at some point, you just have to say, you know what? Life includes risk. And we cannot shut down society and bring life grinding to a halt because there is a slightly elevated risk for a small group of people. You just can't do it.
I'm just going to address this super fast. Louis from Rumble is asking, yes, simple, get the measles best vaccine. What are the effects of taking measles vaccine? We did a full, I'm not going to go into the whole spiel here, but I'm going to tag a video that we did with experts on measles exactly a couple of months ago. So I'll tag it in the bottom so that he knows. Ted Kuntz is somebody I work with all the time, but he knows the actual, he knows, not only does he know the science, he's been behind it for more than 20 years, but he actually knows the numbers too. So the point in the matter is, and his goal is always the same thing, is informed consent. There is, if you have a virus or you have an infection that has a survival rate of 99.8%, and the only people that have died from it were premature babies.
Yep.
That were 2 out of the 3 were premature babies that had immune issues, and the other infant, the same thing. So you're starting to see the same thing during COVID, right? It turns out that the survival rate is above 99% too. And the people that died had 3 or more comorbidities. That's the thing. Now, if you understand that if you're healthy and you take care of your immune system, why would you ever need it? And that the problem becomes knowing what are the risks of taking those vaccines, because there are risks to those vaccines.
Sure. Of course.
So is it worth it? Because, this morning I was looking into it, and to the measles vaccine, it's just under 1% of the risk of getting a serious illness from the vaccine. So if you have a survival rate by being unvaccinated of 99.8%, why would you take a vaccine that could be 10 times, that literally is 5 times more chances of having a serious injury? Like, why? Why would you? And those are the numbers. I'm not saying you shouldn't take it. I'm not here to tell you shouldn't get vaccinated. That's a personal choice. And that's the irony of it all. The people that I lost my career over not getting vaccinated during COVID. And those are the same people that are online right now saying that it's all anti-vaxxers' faults, that it's because of Alberta, it's because of people like me that the measles are on the rise. Yet, those are the same people that are pro-choice that will tell me my body, my choice. But when it comes to vaccination, it does not apply. So this is the irony of it all, right? So it only applies, my body, my choice only applies when it's their opinion, your body.
When it's things they
Right?
want to do, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
And
because
I wonder
vaccines
too-
don't save other people. By the way, vaccines do not prevent other people from getting infected. It protects you. That's it. It doesn't protect other people, because you can still carry the disease or carry the infection and pass it on. It doesn't prevent you from catching it. It prevents you from maybe dying from it, maybe getting seriously sick from it, but it doesn't prevent you from being a carrier. And that's the irony of it all. It doesn't protect. It's not, for me not to get vaccinated is not a selfish thing. It's not because I don't want to protect others. I can't protect others. I just can't. It's not something I physically can do. I can protect myself, but I can't protect somebody else.
I wonder too, because no one actually gets just the measles vaccine, right? It comes in measles, mumps, and rubella, right? It's all three of those.
I think
at
they call
once.
it the TAP. They call it the TAP. The TAP
so
vaccine.
Why is mumps and rubella? Why have that not come up? You know what I mean? If it was because of the vaccine, you'd expect all 3 of them to come up. But if it's only the measles, maybe it suggests that it's not actually the people not getting vaccinated.
You know why? Because it's big business. Your measles alone, the vaccine for measles alone is estimated between $2 to $5 billion a year.
Yep.
That's how much money is being made.
That's crazy.
For a 99.8% survival rate if you're not vaccinated, come on, man. Like, they're not $2 to $5 billion. So, and the reason the gap is so big is that you have people, there's studies that say it's just over 2 billion. There's studies that are saying that it's about 5 billion. So that's why I'm using the range. But let's play devil's advocate. It generates more than $2 billion a year worldwide for big pharma. That right there is a very good reason why they're pushing vaccination for something that has a 99.8% survival rate. At the end of the day, what our society has become is scared of being sick. We would rather never be sick, take all the medication in the world to never be sick, instead of understanding that to build your immune system, you need to get sick. That's where you train your immune system. We have something that's part of us that's been developed in order to protect you. That's the whole
Well, I
point
mean,
of your immune
even
system, right?
I mean, that's even how vaccines, when they are effective and do work, that's how they work. Is it triggers your immune system? It does it in a sort of artificial way, but it's basically just trying to mimic what happens naturally.
Yep.
DVK says, "Your body, my choice." Analogy is terrible. Vaccines work. History proves it, and it is selfish. No, I mean, at the end of the day,
does it prove
it's still your body. You still have the right to decide if you put a drug in your body, and that's just a fundamental point. You can call it selfish all you want, but lots of people do. You can't criminalize selfishness. That's at the end. It's a real slippery slope. You don't want to go down there where you're deciding which drugs you force into people's bodies and which you don't. It is your body, your choice, and if you feel vaccines work, then you'll obviously make the choice to take them. And I'm not even anti-vax, but I am anti forcing people to put drugs in their body that they don't want to. That has to be a fundamental baseline in society, a fundamental value in society is that we don't force people to put drugs in their body. I don't know how you could argue with that.
Leave his comment there, because there's a couple of things that's wrong with what you're saying. I challenge you right now. Show me the studies that proves that the vaccines worked better than natural immunity. Show me the studies where the vaccines were tested in a double-blind study. Show me those studies, because they don't exist. I know that you won't be able to. It's a trap, I'm telling you right now. But please prove me wrong. Tell me which vaccine, when did it actually stop anything? Because you'll look, if you start looking throughout history, vaccines are always introduced at the end of a pandemic, at the end of something already being treated. At the end of the day, man, if a vaccine can protect you, so would a healthy immune system. Because you're trying, as you said, the vaccine is trying to recreate what your immune system should be able to do.
That's why vaccines work, because your body creates
exactly, but it is still your immune system. The vaccine doesn't protect you. It's your immune system that protects you.
It's your immune system. Yeah.
So no matter what, it's a fallacy to say that a vaccine would work better than natural immunity. The thing is, are there cases where I can understand people getting vaccinated? Yeah, sure. If your immune system's compromised and you cannot handle to get sick, you need a almost dead version of the virus. I get it, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. But I invite you to do a bit more research and to start looking at the components that are in the vaccines. It's not just the dead virus. There's a lot of components in there that are put in the vaccine in order to trigger a response, in order to trigger your immune system to respond to what is being injected in you, because it is not going through the regular passages like your mouth, your nose, where those receptors, those natural receptors are located. So I get what you're saying, but bro, it sounds to me that you're just repeating what you're saying. That's what you're being told, that like vaccines are safe and effective. Vaccines are safe and effective. Turns out that they're not. And in the case of the measles, I invite you to do the research. You have more chances of being hurt by the vaccine than you are of dying from the measles. That's a fact. The information is just there. It takes 2 seconds for you to confirm it. This is not hidden. So at the end of the day, do you trust your immune system to do the job that it's supposed to do? I do, because I treat my immune system with the respect that it deserves. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't have the right to, if you want, I don't give a fuck. If you want to chop your right arm and that's going to make you happy, I don't really give a fuck. So if you want to inject yourself with vaccines, I don't care. At the end of the day, I'm not there to tell you what you shouldn't do. But as you said, Rob, nobody has the right to tell me what I should be doing.
Yep. I mean, that's
what I should be putting in my body. That's the problem.
That should be the just a common ground for everybody. I would be opposed if someone was trying to make vaccines illegal, and I'd be just as opposed if someone was trying to force vaccines. Just people decide, let people decide for what they want to put in their own bodies. I don't see how this is hard. And if you're starting from a place of, well, we have to force those people to put this drug in the body for the greater good, then you've already lost. You've already lost that argument. And it doesn't matter how many stats you can show. It's just, even if in that specific argument you're correct, you're opening up just such a Pandora's box once you start force injecting people with drugs that it wouldn't matter how much of a benefit that drug gives you. You can't do it.
No, absolutely not. And yeah, that's all I'm saying is
Yeah.
I should have the right, if I treat my body, if I eat properly, I exercise, I sleep, I meditate, I take care of myself. Why would I need to put something in my body to make you feel better about yourself? Because that's what happened during COVID, man. It was virtue signaling. It had nothing to do with saving the planet. It didn't. It did not. It did not stop you from spreading it. It did not stop you from getting sick. The fact that people injected something in their body,
the masking and stuff, right? Like that didn't do anything.
the face diaper, no, absolutely not. So at the end of the day, for like anything we talk about on this show, or I talk anywhere on my social media, it's all about informed consent. At the end of the day, man, you can do whatever the fuck you want. If it doesn't impact me, I don't care. I hope you do research, because it's still important to do research, but unless it affects me directly, I don't really care. But you don't have the right to tell me what I should and shouldn't do because you believe in something that I don't believe in. That is just wrong.
Exactly. I just want to address this real quick. Wise Guy says, I've tried many times to get Rob to research vaccines. He won't do it. And Wise Guy said a little bit further up here, they don't work. I mean, that's just a blanket statement that is not correct. They do work to some degree, of course. If you look at Go back and look at the numbers of measles cases or mumps before the vaccine, and then watch the year after it was introduced. It clearly brought the number down to a statistically significant degree. The debate is not whether they work or not. Of course, they work for some people. The debate is, are there side effects? Are they potentially dangerous? Of course they are. So the debate is really about trade-offs, right? Is the potential benefit of this worth what the potential downside is? But to say there's no downside is just as wrong as to say there's no benefit. Like, it's not that they don't work, period, and it's just a placebo you're putting in your body. That's not correct. But it's more about, in my opinion, it's more just of a civil rights issue. I just don't believe government should be forcing anyone to put any drug in their body whatsoever. My personal opinion, I'm not anti-vax, but I just think if you have two options to do something, and one is the natural way and one is a synthetic modern drug induced way, I think you're always smarter to go with default with the natural way, whatever we're talking about, whether it's immunity, whether it's building muscle in the gym, any number of things. So that's sort of how I see it there. But yeah, just to say as a flat, they don't work is not. There's more nuance to it than that.
Oh no! Listen, like I can give you the numbers. It says that you have 100% protection against measles, as in you will not die from measles if you're vaccinated, compared to 99.8% if you are unvaccinated. Although the 3 deaths are very questionable, but here's one of the differences. 97% is the lifelong immunity provided by 2 measles vaccine. So the 2 doses of the TAP vaccine. It will provide you between 20 to 30 years. They're looking at about 97% of people that took 2 vaccines will have lifelong immunity. The only thing that gives you 100% immunity is to have caught it naturally. That's the only way. And there's studies out there that says that the vaccine's effectiveness tends to drop massively after 12 to 15 years, which is why they always want you to take boosters and boosters and boosters, because it is not an effective way to build lifelong immunity. So at the end of the day, am I debating that they work or they not? I don't, there's cases that they do. I'm not saying they never work. What I'm saying is basically what you're saying too. Is the risk worth the reward? Because if you understand that no matter what, the main goal is to trigger a response from your immune system in order to build the antibodies to protect you the next time. That's basically all it is. It doesn't matter if you're catching it naturally or you're being injected with it. But you need to understand what they're injecting you with, because it is not just measles. There's a lot of mercury, aluminum, other components to create a reaction in your body so that your immune system kind of recognizes that something is happening, because unfortunately that virus is not entering a normal pathway like your mouth and your nose, where those detection processes are naturally. So at the end of the day, can it work? Sure. Does it work better than having a strong immune system? To me, it's simple. You know how I see it? One asks the individual to be healthy, to take care of themselves, to have accountability on their health. The other tends to be on fear. I'm so scared that I'm going to catch something that I'd rather catch it to try to protect me. It's fear, and you don't trust yourself. And at the end of the day, you know that you're not healthy enough. You're questioning yourself. This is how I see it. Now, does that mean one is right, one is wrong? No, but I believe in accountability. I would much rather take care of myself than having to inject myself synthetically with something that's supposed to help me when I can achieve a better result naturally. Like it's not even a competition. Like that's an easy decision for me.
I think, you can just if you narrowly frame it like, well, does it work or not? I think that's missing some things. Like, for example, Ozempic works to lose weight. You definitely can lose weight by taking Ozempic. But if you have an option between getting your diet in check, getting a better lifestyle, and losing weight that way versus just taking Ozempic, I think you're always better to go the natural way, right? So it's not just about does it work or not. Like there's other factors. You have to leave the door open for people who just choose to do things naturally. Another example would be childbirth. Epidurals, they work for preventing pain for sure, but just preventing pain is not the only thing that everyone cares about. There are some women out there, I think your wife was one of them, who it was more important for them to just have a natural childbirth than it was to have a perfectly pain-free childbirth. And so it's not just as simple as saying, well, if it works, then take it. Because people have other things that are important to them, and you can't take that away from people. Because that's for the people that do care about that, to live a natural lifestyle in most of the ways that they can. That's often like a very important thing for them. And to have the government just come and say, no, sorry. Imagine if the government went around forcing women to have epidurals for their own good. I think most people would see that as very problematic. This is the exact same thing.
And the thing to remember, the reason my wife did it naturally, as you say, and she didn't take the epidural, is because this medication is passed down to your child.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you think that it's just your wife that's being frozen and not feel pain? No, this is affecting the little human that you're trying to bring to life. So why would you do that to him if you don't need to? You're taking risks. Chances are he's going to be okay. But is the risk worth the reward? Because that's always what it comes down to. If you look, you cannot say that medications are 100% safe and effective, because they are not. I do not care what type of medication you're talking about. There's always possible symptoms. There's always possible problems to every single one of them.
Of course there is. Of course there is.
Is it worth it? Is it worth? Hey, do steroids work? Well, fuck yeah, they work.
Of course they do. Yeah.
Are they worth it? But are they worth it?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And that's the part that was missing from the whole debate. I think that the whole vax debate of a couple years ago would have been so much healthier if the pro-vax side was just honest about that. Yes, of course there are some downsides, there are some risks to this drug, just like every drug, but they portrayed it like it was this like completely safe. You have nothing to worry about, and that's just not true.
Safe and effective, safe and effective, safe and effective.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you think they kept on repeating safe and effective? It's a marketing thing. Safe and effective, safe and effective,
exactly.
safe and
That's
effective,
what it felt
safe
like.
And effective, safe and effective.
And this one from DVK says, I agree, guys, do what you want, but not getting a shot. There's a great history, especially great history is dangerous society. I mean, yeah, that's your opinion, but I mean, I appreciate that we all seem to come on this common ground of we all have to do what's right for us, right? And I think, I don't recall you, I think this might be your first time commenting here on the show, but welcome. Hopefully you stick around. This show is, it's a little bit different. I think a lot of people come in here and they see us for 2 minutes and they think it's just a regular political left-right show, but we do things a little bit differently here. We're trying to really foster substantive discussion and actually kind of get to the bottom of some of these issues in a productive way. This show,
Like
meaning
we're doing right now,
away from, to get away. We created the show to get away from 99% of internet discourse and politics, which is just, ad hominem attacks and attacking each other and trolling and all that nonsense. So, that little back and forth that we had here, I think is a pretty good example of it. So hopefully you stick around. Usually, I am a liberal, traditionally at least. Nico's a conservative, and so we're trying to sort of bridge that gap with common sense discussions. But one thing we'll find is there's almost on every issue, even when we disagree, and we disagree quite a lot, there's usually a common ground, a common sense common ground somewhere that most of us can agree on. And I think in this one, that's probably where it is. You're free to think it's selfish to not take a shot, but I'm glad that you agree that at the end of the day, we all have to be accountable for what goes in our body. The government cannot force us to put things into our bodies.
Agreed. And even if you believe that it's selfish, it really isn't, because if
I don't
care with a 99.8% survival rate, three deaths in the past 10 years, three deaths in the past 10 years, and they were infants.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically just not statistically significant, right? If you're talking about 99.8% versus 99.7% or whatever, those are, it's not statistically significant difference. And if that's the case, if all else is equal, I'd probably rather go with the natural one.
I see Louis earlier was saying that vaccines seem to work. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, Louis, that's what you were insinuating, but he's like, DVK, obviously you haven't heard about the vax injuries from COVID. And that's the problem.
Well, and those are two separate issues. Whether it works on one hand, it could still work and also cause lots of vax injuries, for sure. Those are two things that can absolutely happen.
Ozempic works great, but you know what it also does to the female body, especially? Removes calcium from your body. For some reason, Ozempic eats calcium.
There's never a free lunch. There's super
brittle.
Lunch. Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of free lunch. Just come to Canada. But but Ozempic, does it work? 100%. Is it bad for your bones? Yeah. Well, there's a problem there. So again, it always comes down to that. Is the risk worth the reward? Yeah. That's what it comes down to.
And when you frame it that way, it's hard to see, like this whole debate, the whole vax debate did not have to get as controversial as it did. It did not have to tear society apart. It was just framed in a way from the get-go that was disingenuous and made it about a moral issue when it's not. It's really about, what do I think is right for my body? Do I think the risk is worth the potential benefits? And that's really it.
Okay, again, I'll take this last one and then we can call it a day. But DVK is like, I'm not denying injuries from vaccines. Injuries from seatbelt happen too. But are you going to tell a friend not to buckle up? Okay, but those are false equivalent here. I literally told you earlier.
Listen, more people than not
exactly, exactly my point. Listen, I'm going to repeat myself one last time before we finish the show. The measles vaccine has injured just under 1% of the people that take them. They have serious side effects to it. The survival rate for the unvaccinated to measles is 99.8%. Literally, you have almost 5 times more chances of being injured by the vaccine than you are dying from measles. Those are math right there. If in my head, I'm a math guy, I'm a sales engineer by trade, I look at numbers, I'm like, I have less chance. Let's say that I believe in vaccines. Let's say I don't, but let's say that I did. I have 5 times more chances of developing something serious from the vaccine than actually dying from it. I'll trust my immune system. Your example is completely ludicrous because you're basically saying there's a lot more people that are getting saved by seatbelts every year that die from not having their seatbelt on.
And also that the end of the sentence there, DVK, where you say, "Are you going to tell your friends not to buck up?" No, that's the point. We're not telling people not to get a vaccine. We're just pushing back on you guys trying to force us to get it. Like, I wear a seatbelt, but if I'm not going to tell my friends and nag them to wear seatbelts because I respect that they're adults and they can make their own decisions. And if they choose to not wear a seatbelt, that's on them. They're like, we don't need the nanny state making all these decisions for us anymore. I think just like I don't see too many people who are anti-vax. And again, I'm not anti-vax, but I don't see too many people who are anti-vax who are demanding that vaccines be made illegal and demanding that other people not be allowed to take them. And if I did, I would be strongly opposed to that. It really isn't about vaccines or seatbelts. It's really about we have to have the freedom to make our own choices for our own bodies. And that's just a fundamental concept that we have to base society around.
I'm a motorcycle guy. I like motorcycles. You can see my helmet is right there. I wear full face covered to the neck. Why? Over 90% of accidents on a motorcycle, the first thing that hits the pavement, a car, or that hits an object is your jaw. That means, yes. But it makes sense. What happens? Your whiplash. I've had an accident on my motorcycle before. Your whiplash. So what do you think hits first? Your head. Do I think that just the top helmets are stupid? Yeah, they're fucking dumb. People that wear that are fucking stupid. Does that mean I want them illegal? No. You know what? You want to look cool and you want to wear that helmet? That's fine by me, man. I don't care. At the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. Scrape your face on the pavement if that's what you want. But I will wear a full face mask. It's the same thing. I don't care. I just don't care, but I understand the risks. And one more comment from DVK, just because I like those type of conversations. But where that vaccine study to measles, go check Vaccine Choice Canada. Just Google Vaccine Choice Canada. It is literally the biggest resource on vaccines in the world, arguably. So you can find it everywhere on there. I'll tag it in the comments, but in the description of the video when we had Ted Kuntz from Vaccine Choice Canada on the show to explain all of that. So yeah, there's a lot of sources, but they have it all.
We'll pin it there. But I just want to take this one last one. I also think this is your first time.
We're gonna pin it there, but let's take one
final one. He says, "Don't wear a seatbelt. Don't use the healthcare system if you get in a car accident." So we've actually talked about that concept before, and I actually could be convinced of that. But you got to go all the way, right? That means if you're like overweight or obese, you're not getting healthcare either. If you smoke, you're not getting healthcare. I mean, if you want to just do a pure accountability thing, I mean, I could be convinced, but you got to go all the way. You can't just pick and choose which ones, right? So, and obviously, you can probably see some of the trouble with once you go down that road. It gets very difficult. But if they really wanted to force it, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'd take that. But like, it's got to go all the way.
I've spoken about this before. I think we need a massive health system reform, and that is the one thing I would implement. I've put a lot of thought into it, and I would let's take a smoker, for example, being a very easy example. You smoke your whole life, you get to the doctor tells you, if you continue down that path, you're gonna die. You're gonna have lung cancer. We're gonna give you a year. Here are all the resources that you need. Here are professionals that you can go see. Here are groups. We're going to help you with the patch. We're going to reevaluate you in a year. If you still haven't tried, if you still haven't quit, you're cut off. Same thing for the fatties out there. If you get to the hospital and you're having your third fucking bypass because you eat shit every single day, the doctor tells you, hey, bro, you need to do something about this because this is going to kill you. And you're talking to a guy that my dad died from his second heart attack at like 52 years old. He ate like garbage, treated his body like garbage. Guess what happens? Same thing there. So I believe in that too. You don't want to buckle up and you went through your fucking windshield and you injured yourself. Sorry, bro. Sorry. We'll send you a bill.
So we take the next step further. If you take the experimental vax and you get injured, you don't get health care. So you can see how it gets a little it gets a little tricky once you go down that road. But hey, if we want to do it, I'm down with it. All right. Final comment.
Last one.
Yeah. Bristle says, great arguments tonight. Love hearing disagreement. This is proper form, logical discourse. Yeah, that's basically exactly why we created the show. Well, we're clearly not going to agree on everything, as we've seen tonight. But if we approach all these debates, respectfully, and one thing we say around here all the time is show your work. And if you disagree with something, and we love hearing people who disagree with us, but show your work, make your point. Don't just say, "Oh, you're an idiot." And I think, DVK, I would say you did a good job of making your case, right? So yeah, welcome to all the new faces. Hopefully you guys stick around. We are on every single night from Sunday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time to 9. If you are new to the show and you want to support it, please consider becoming a member. You can do that through YouTube, through the low price of $2.99 per month. You can also consider buying us a coffee or give us just the tip in the top right.
He always gives $2.79. I don't know what that means.
Will hitting us up with the $2.79. Yeah, he's got a limit on his card. The most he can do is $2.80.
Or it's like the price of a coffee, and he's like, instead of buying a coffee, I'm giving you what it costs.
Yeah, it's the actual price of
every
coffee.
Time I say
the whole buy me a coffee thing, that's just a saying. Well, Wilf takes it very literally. No, we appreciate that, brother. Thanks a lot, man. Yeah, having a good time.
Exactly.
All right, guys, catch us tomorrow night, same time, same channel, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We'll see you then.
Peace.